Alright, so I am on my way to the 13th annual abeanbcvgwmei, which stands for the annual Bryan, Erck, Alex, Neuse birthday celebration and video game weekend marathon extravaganza invitational. Like I said, this is the 13th consecutive year we've done this. It's basically myself and 4 good buddies of mine that get together every year, and we rent a timeshare out and we play video games together for about 3 straight days. And it is 3 straight days. We get little amounts of sleep, and we just have a blast doing it. Like I said, we've been doing this for 13 years now, and how it started was back in 2004 when there's some dots you have to connect how it all kind of started. But I guess so. Back in 2004, when I was getting married, 3 of us that do this now, myself, Chuck, Alex, and 2 others that my friends Chris and Jason that don't do this anymore. The 5 of us, it was myself and my wedding party. We were getting fitted for suits and tuxedos for my wedding, and this was down near Fresno, and which happened to be near where Chuck happened to have a timeshare, and he had suggested that we get together there while we're getting fitted for our suits and play video games together that weekend. And it was a great idea. We didn't really know what to expect. We brought some games. I remember bringing a GameCube and a few GameCubes and landing those together and playing Mario Kart Double Dash. And we were all staying in a pretty small timeshare. There was a small living room, a small kitchen downstairs, and 1 or 2 bedrooms upstairs, and that was it for 5 of us. And so it was pretty crowded downstairs. I remember playing Mario Kart. We were so jam-packed together that 2 people had to sit in the kitchen and 2 people had to sit outside of the kitchen, wedged together under the doorway, just to play Mario Kart together, crammed together, sitting there watching the game on the TV, sitting on the kitchen table, the very small kitchen table that was there. But we had a blast doing it, and. Like I said, this was back in 2004. We, kind of fumbled around with the idea of, we should do this every year type of thing. We just liked that idea quite a bit. And prior to that, though, when myself, Alex, Chuck, I think Shane was there, Chris, we all worked together at LucasArts, and Alex had asked our management team if we could come in on a weekend, just a group of us, use one of the conference rooms, bring in a bunch of the televisions and game consoles into one of those conference rooms, and just play video games for 24 hours straight together, just to see if we could do it. This is back when I was probably 21 at the time, 20, 21, and we did it. We showed up on a Saturday at about 7 a.m. and played non-stop until Sunday at about 7 a.m. So in connecting those dots is kind of how it started now. So we did the 24-hour gaming marathon at LucasArts. That was probably year 2000. Like I said, 4 years later for the wedding, which was 2004, and then 2005 came, and I really wanted to get together again and play and do this. And so I kind of asked if if people wanted to do it again, and they were kind of busy, couldn't really do it. Him and Holly, typical adult excuses. I don't have time, which I understood. But the following year, so 2006 came around my birthday, and I said, "Hey guys, so for my birthday, I would like to do this again." And Alex, his birthday is around the same time as mine, or both in the middle of March. And he said, "Yeah, we could do this for our birthdays. Since it's my birthday and his birthday, people aren't going to say no to that." So it started, myself, Chuck, Alex, and Shane. We all got together at one of Chuck's timeshares, this time in Windsor, which is where we have it pretty much every year now. And we played, I honestly forget which games we played. I know one of the games we played was Zelda Four Swords on the Game Boy Advance together, which was great. Well, the game sucks, but the experience was great. Smash Brothers, some old games, whatever was popular back in 2006. It was just the four of us, non-stop, playing games together, and we had a blast. And from that moment on, the four of us kind of committed to doing that every year, to making it a priority, where everything else gets put on hold and we stick to it, and we get together back then it was March, and we commit to it. All four of us have to be in on it, and all four of us have been. And I think for the first few years it was kind of like, is everyone really committed? Are we really committed? And we've stuck through it. The four of us have been doing this for, like I said, 13 years now, and Criley came on about 5 or 6 years ago. If we knew him when it originally started, he very well would have been a part of it from the beginning. So like I said, there's 5 of us now: myself, Chuck, Jane, Alex, and Kevin, Criley as we call him. And yeah, we just do this every year, and we really look forward to it. What do I like most about this weekend? It's a good question, but I mean, honestly, it's kind of everything. I guess to sum it up kind of simply, it's just nice being around a group of folks that just kind of get it, that just had similar experiences to me growing up, playing these games, kind of getting drawn into them. I think generations before us and whatnot, really got into movies and music and books, and I think it's a lot like that, but it's just a different medium. That generations before us didn't have, wasn't an option for them. So they, of course, quite understand. We get the vibe that people think it's childish and whatnot. And there's maybe some truth to that, but it's just like it's childish to say reading books or watching movies or listening to music. There's an experience for everyone, for all ages. You've just got to kind of seek it out and experience it. So it's just nice to be around people that get it, and that I can talk to about this stuff and at length. And I can remember, it's interesting, Steve Jobs, in one of his speeches, he talks about connecting the dots and talking about the success of Apple, how it came about, connecting all the dots of the decisions he makes. And for me, I can kind of connect some dots for this, in that I remember being a little kid watching Stand By Me, before I really understood what the movie was about. And I remember it coming on TV later, still being a kid, and my older brother saying that, the edited version of Stand By Me at the end, where Gordy is typing on his computer saying, "I never had friends like the ones I had when I was 12. Jesus does anyone." And on TV, the edited version, the word Jesus is blanked out. There's a black mark that goes over it. It's edited for TV. And I just remember being a kid thinking, ooh, that's kind of taboo. I didn't know they couldn't say it on TV, but that's what that word is. Years later, as I saw that movie as a young adult, my brother just, saying that stuff had always resonated with me. But when I saw it later as a young adult, and seeing him, say that I never had friends like I did when I was 12, Jesus does anyone, actually getting it and feeling the impact of what it actually meant, and it just started sunk in, like, no one really has friends like they do as adults, like they did when they were 12. My parents didn't really hang out with groups of friends and whatnot. I mean, they had their softball games and their little get-togethers and whatnot, but it wasn't like, when you're like 12, you can just kind of focus on what you're enjoying, and everything else just goes away. It's gone. And that's what this kind of weekend is about. It's not quite that, but it's pretty damn close, as close as I could get as being a full-grown adult, you know, with careers and wives and kids and whatnot. It's pretty close to that, and so it's just nice to be able to be with a group of people that feels the same way and thinks the same things, and to kind of be able to have that 12-year-old mindset almost, just where nothing else matters, where at least as close as possible. It's tough as an adult, but all our distractions, we're able to kind of put it off to the side. Unless an emergency happens, we're not thinking about it, we're not talking about it. We just get to just kind of have that mindset again, you know, once a year for a few days, which is awesome. And I wish more grown-ups would do it. It's great. It's fun. So yeah, that's what I enjoy most, just being around people that make me feel like I'm 12 again, in some ways. Yeah, it's a blast. I love it. What am I playing this year? This year, the guys like to play a lot of co-op games. I play a little bit with them. So the other four will probably be playing some co-op games together. I might hop in a little bit, but I know they want to play through Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time. They started that last year, the year before, and so they're going to be playing through that with them. I'm going to play, I believe it's called Dangerous Golf with Chuck. There's a co-op mode for that, so we'll be playing that. But I am going to spend a lot of my time playing through Soul Blazer, which is an old Super Nintendo game that I rented when I was a kid, and I loved it. I was probably 12 or 13, 14 years old when I rented it. I didn't own it, and I've always wanted to play through it. I've never done it, so I'm finally going to try to do that this year. Hopefully I can do it in 1 or 2 nights. I'm going to devote, probably 16 to 20 hours to it. Hopefully that's enough. If not, I'll have to come back next year and finish it then, or finish it at home. But I'd really like to finish it in, a day and a half here. There's just something I really enjoy doing about sitting down and having these gaming marathons of one single game, where I just kind of we get to get lost in these fictional worlds and whatnot, without any other distractions going on. No one else that kind of needs my attention, and the people around me just get it. They'll see me sitting around in the corner playing with my headphones on. They'll know that I just don't want to be bothered for a while while I'm playing through this. But yeah, so I'm playing through Soul Blazer, hopefully. Other than that, I'm going to play probably quite a bit of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I haven't finished that yet. There's a lot I want to do, and there's a few levels I want to play through in Super Mario Odyssey. I also might devote a couple hours or so to either Final Fantasy X, X2, Final Fantasy 12, maybe Horizon Zero Dawn. I kind of want to wait till I can put some time into that. I might play The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. That's been sitting in my digital library for a while. But yeah, so definitely Soul Blazer is going to get a large chunk of my time this year. Is it competitive the weekend? No, it's not too competitive. It's not. We do have some competition. We do have a traveling trophy that one of us gets to take home every year. We'll come up with kind of a series of contests, and whoever wins those challenges over the weekend will take home the trophy, and they can be anything from playing specific games, doing the best at them, playing, unlocking the most achievements. We come up with some pretty creative and clever, and sometimes stupid ideas to determine who the winner is. But we don't devote most of our time to that. That takes up about an hour or so per day. So it's a nice little side game that actually Chuck came up with several years back, and And it serves as, of course, like bragging rights, which is pretty cool. Whoever wins the trophy has to come up with the games for the next year. That's pretty cool. Alex made this trophy. I think Alex and Chuck, or Alex made the trophy. It's basically an arcade joystick, or an Atari joystick, with buttons from other game consoles glued onto it. It's pretty cool. He put some time and effort into it. So yeah, so there is that. But yeah, overall it's not too competitive. It's mostly just about playing the games you want to play with the people you want being around you that just kind of get it, just kind of understand what you want out of the weekend. Have I ever won the trophy? Yes, I've won it once. I think Chuck and Shane have won it 3 times. I've won it once. Riley's won it once, and Alex has won it once. So the year I won it, I lived in Texas, and they actually flew out to see me. Shane couldn't make the trip, but he was on through FaceTime on our iPads. We should have just chipped in and paid for him to come out. I'm kicking myself for not doing that. I know Chuck is as well. But I had a significant home field advantage, so it was at my house for one. Shane wasn't there, and Chuck. This is how committed we are to this. On the flight out, Chuck actually had developed a kidney stone on the airplane, and had to be an ambulance had to come get him, escort him off the airplane. And Alex and I had to pick him up from the hospital several hours later. And once he was feeling a little bit better, Chuck still felt terrible. Once he felt a little bit better, he was back at it. We're playing games at our house, and I ended up winning the competition. I forget specifically what it all involved, but actually I remember some of it, but I'm not going to say on this video. It's almost kind of gross. But I remember the final game we played Twisted Metal Black, and it ended up being myself, Alex, and Chuck for the final round, whatever it was. And I ended up just finding a hidden spot somewhere, just circling around, looking as if I'm playing, and I let Chuck and Alex kind of duke it out, and I let them kind of basically kill each other over time, and I just would swoop in after their energy was super low and kind of defeated them both, and that's kind of how I ended up winning the trophy that year. So yes, I have won it. Typically Chuck and Shane often have won it, obviously the most. Honestly, it hasn't been set up for me to do well. Just the type of games that I excel in, and how it takes me a while to get good at them. Usually these competitions, you only get 1 or 2 chances to do well, and that's just not enough for me. And sometimes they're board game related. I don't play too many board games, and I just get destroyed at a board game that requires any thought. But hopefully this year will be a different story. I wouldn't mind taking that trophy home where it belongs. But yeah, I have won it. We've all won it. To make sure a good time. Has it always been us 5? Like I kind of touched on earlier, it was just there's been more people, but it's always been myself, Chuck, Shane, and Alex. We've been the 4 of us have done it since the beginning. Riley's done it for the last 5 or 6 years. Like I said, he would have done this the whole time if we had known. We didn't know him. He's very much into it as we are, and as equally committed. So no, we've had just a couple other people. We've had a couple friends of ours and whatnot. They've lasted now 2, maybe 3 years at most, and they kind of peter off. Life kind of gets in the way. It's just not the same for them as it is for us. But like I said, the 4 of us have stuck it out, and I shouldn't say stuck it out. It's not a chore. 4 of us have done this since the beginning. Riley's been doing this a while now, so we'll all be doing this until it's done. As for when it's over, it hasn't really come up. We haven't really talked about it. I might maybe I'll talk about it for our goodbye lunch this time, but hopefully not for a while, hopefully not for another 50 years or whatnot. We joke about doing this when we're 50, 75 years old doing this. But I imagine if it were up to me, I would say as soon as there's less than 4 of us. So, I mean, if there's 4 of us, we should be able to keep doing it. But if it's 5 of us, and let's say 2 of us die eventually, and there's only 3 of us, I think it'd be kind of depressing. 2 would definitely be depressing. 1 would just be terrible. So I think, I don't know, if less than 4 of us, for me, I would be okay if that's when the chapter closes, I think. But I guess it would be up to the final people involved. But if that were my decision, that's what it would be for me. But I mean, hopefully it lasts for another 50 years. See, I'm 39 now. I can imagine doing this when I'm 89. Yeah, I'd probably be sleeping a lot, and who knows? I mean, I can't imagine what games would be like in 50 years. 20 years, 30 years, I mean 50, I have no idea, but it would be awesome if we're still doing this when we're 75, 80, 85 years old. Curious to look back on this video after some time and see what's happened. So how does it end? So on the final day, I mean, it's just, it's a timeshare, it's basically like a hotel. So on the final day, we have to check out. We kind of, wake up, when we wake up, play games for a few hours, but we pretty much pack up. There's a lot to pack up, as you can see in the videos. But so we pack our stuff, and we end by going to the restaurant at the timeshare we stay at called Charlie's, and we just kind of have lunch there, kind of chit chat, because we actually don't, over the weekend we don't chit chat too much. We talk a little bit, but we're pretty focused on playing the games and the gaming experience with each other. We don't really talk about life all that much. Brunch is a little different, but it's still centered around video games. We can talk about family and stuff and work, more so on our goodbye lunch, or goodbye brunch. Yeah, it's kind of a way to cap the weekend off. We just, it's tradition. We've been doing that since we started, pretty much. I don't know if we did it the first couple of years, but we've definitely been doing it for probably the last 8, 9, 10 years. The exception of having it when I was at my house in Texas. Can you come? Probably not. Simply put. Like I said, it is, I guess, invite only, but we're not too, I don't know, just simply put, I mean, probably not. Like I said, there's 5 of us. We have had 6 before. 6 gets a little crowded for where we're staying. And I mean, honestly, if one of us invited someone else, people probably wouldn't have a problem with it, but that's happened, like I kind of touched on earlier. There were others that had stuck around for a couple years or so, but and people wouldn't put up too big of a stink, but honestly, it's probably just not going to happen. There's, like I said, people have shown up, done it for 2-3 years, and then just kind of petered out. And I think we're all kind of over that, I guess. But I mean, if there was someone else that someone wanted to invite, it probably wouldn't be an issue. But odds are we're probably not going to invite too many more people. But it's like I said, this is the 13th year. In 20 or 30 years, we'll see what happens. Alright, I'm heading home from another year of abeanbcvgwmei. That makes this the 13th consecutive year that we've done this. And it was good, as always. This drive home it's always kind of a little sad. You kind of hate to leave and go back to reality, but that's just kind of what happens. We got to get back to life as we know it. But yeah, it was pretty good. as for who won the trophy, so before I get into the details, or who won, before I get into who won, it was Chuck's turn to come up with the game design idea, because he had won last year. So, and he came up with a Jeopardy theme, which you've seen in the video up to this point, a Jeopardy idea, which was great. It was well balanced, and and as far as design can go, it was flawless. It was awesome. So the first 2 rounds of Jeopardy, you got first round is just Jeopardy, second round is double Jeopardy, and all his questions there are presented in that PowerPoint presentation, just like you'd see on a Jeopardy game. The questions were well thought out, the categories were well thought out, and it was really well done, well put together. And even had this device where we could kind of buzz in. So it was really well done. And then, so what the kicker was for Final Jeopardy. Now, Jeopardy is pretty much a quiz show, as you know. So we all had our points, and we get the Final Jeopardy category, and we wager what we want to wager based on the category. And so typically it's Jeopardy, so it's a quiz show, so either you know the answer or you don't. So that's typical Jeopardy. What Chuck's Final Jeopardy question was pretty slick. It was basically choose who you think will win in a round of Mario Party, and we all had to play a 15-turn round of Mario Party together, the 4 of us that were competing, which was awesome, because then you could bet on yourself, you could bet against yourself, you could bet on someone else, and that way and depending on how much you wagered, how much they wagered, it all came to final decisions, or it could potentially, which makes for a very exciting final round, which is what we've all been trying to do with these the traveling trophy games. We want the final round to be intense but fair for people who are in the lead, type of a thing. So for Final Jeopardy, my initial thought was something that I've heard before, was bet on yourself. Always be willing to bet on yourself. So I actually did that. I wrote down who is Bryan Erck, which you had to form your answers in. You had to form your answers in the form of a question, or else you didn't. You lost your wager, which happened to Chain actually. And I wagered my full amount, 5,200 points or dollars, whatever I had. So that was my wager. And Kevin Criley also chose me, but I don't remember how much he wagered. But he didn't have enough to have won anyways with the way it was. Chain bet on himself, and Alex also picked Chain as well. And so it came down to, like I said, round of Mario Party. As you know, there's some elements of chance to that game. I was able to get 2 stars right away, or not right away, but 2 stars before everyone else could get 2 stars. I think I had 2. A couple other people had 1 at the end, and then when I won a lot of coins in mini games, and I won several mini games, I actually set a record on one of the mini games for pressing the A button super fast, and that goes on Chuck's Wii, whichever game that is. He'll know that record is mine, which is awesome. But yeah, so Final Jeopardy came and went, or with Mario Party, and I ended up with 4 stars. I won Mario Party. And I bet on me, Criley won on me, and so as far as how much I wagered and how much Alex wagered, let's just say that I'm going home with the traveling trophy.